In the Kursk direction, Ukrainian Defense Forces are managing to hold off the enemy despite the use of aviation weaponry by Russian forces. There is no encirclement of Ukrainian troops, stated the President of Ukraine Volodymyr Zelensky. Ukrainian forces are holding off 64,000 Russian soldiers in this region.
They want to show victorious steps, but for now, we are there, holding a large number of troops, 64,000 Russians in the Kursk direction. This is a very serious grouping that could have been deployed to other fronts, but the guys there are doing great. Russia does not want a ceasefire. We see this, and we understand what they want, what the next steps will be, where their forces are gathering, where the attacks, shots, and offensives will increase along the entire front line. Recently, we've seen over 200 attacks across the entire front. This is an increase.
Ukrainian forces in the Kursk region are holding off Russian offensive towards the Sumy region. The Russian army has significantly increased the number of airstrikes along the border, reported the State Border Guard Service of Ukraine. Russian sabotage groups are continuously attempting to infiltrate Ukrainian territory. On March 28, the Command of Airborne Assault Forces of the Ukrainian Armed Forces reported that 5 Russian soldiers were captured in the Kursk region. The prisoners revealed that their commanders torture and even execute their subordinates for refusing to participate in meat assaults. In the latest counteroffensive in the Kursk region, Russia deployed its elite forces, airborne assault units, Marine Corps, and separate divisions, reported the Office of the President of Ukraine.
Certain events have dealt a serious moral blow to the Russian military machine. At that moment, we consciously crossed a conditional red line, and we did this specifically to demonstrate our ability to conduct offensive operations, even when our partners considered it unrealistic. And by the way, we conducted it quite successfully. If I'm not mistaken, our partners predicted that we would be able to hold the bridgehead for only a month. In reality, we held it for 7 months. This was an important demonstration of our capability. Pavlo Palisa, Deputy Head of the Office of the President of Ukraine, in a comment to journalists.
The Russian army has intensified reconnaissance activities to locate and destroy fire positions, drones, and other systems that could interfere with the upcoming offensive. The Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, Alexander Syrsky, is confident that the Russian Federation aims to shift military operations in the Sumy region.
It's not just about the Sumy region. It's also about the Kharkiv region, and we see increased activity along the Lyman direction. In other words, today, the Russians are trying to maximize the use of reserves that they believe have become available after certain military actions in the Kursk region. But the one who laughs last, laughs best. Therefore, if we're talking about the Kursk operation, it is indeed ongoing.
In August of last year, Ukrainian Defense Forces began an operation in the Kursk region. Ukrainian troops gained control of about 100 settlements. As noted by the General Staff of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, over the 6 months of the Kursk operation, Russia lost 40,000 soldiers and was forced to seek assistance from North Korea, which sent 12,000 of its troops to the Kursk region. The total losses of the North Korean contingent amount to 4,000 men. The Russian Federation would like to completely push Ukraine's defense forces out of the Kursk region and show progress by May 9th.
They have symbolic dates next month, but for now, we are controlling the situation. They want to push us completely out of the Kursk region, but everyone again understands and confirms that we are there, and our presence isn't just limited to the Kursk region.
The Kursk operation has forced Russian occupiers to divert significant resources into the Kursk region, weakening their positions on other fronts. The sudden counteroffensive by Ukrainian forces inflicted significant losses on the superior enemy and seized the initiative on the battlefield, the General Staff added. The Kursk operation also highlighted Russia's weakness and its inability to protect its borders as a state. Reported by Alexandra Zaslavets, Victoria Smirnova, UATV News.
The activity of North Korean troops in the Kursk region has decreased. The main reason is significant losses, reports South Korean intelligence.
Since mid-January, there have been no signs that the North Korean troops stationed in the Russian Kursk region are engaged in combat operations. National Intelligence Service of South Korea from a Yonhap news publication.
Результаты
This is the result of effective work by Special Operations Forces and other components of Ukraine's defense forces. The possibility of further deployment of North Korean military units have been minimized. It should also be noted that the tactics used by some Russian military when deploying North Korean troops resembled those from World War II, where North Koreans acted like panel battalions.
It is currently unclear whether North Korean soldiers will participate in assault operations by the Russian military in the Kursk region in the future.
At this time, there is no definitive understanding of whether North Korean troops will be returned for participation in assault operations in the Kursk region. For now, they have not been involved in assaults for several weeks. Andriy Kovalenko, head of the Center for Countering Disinformation at the National Security and Defense Council of Ukraine, on Telegram.
Experts believe that Russia uses North Korean troops in the Kursk region to avoid exposing this front line and to continue its advance on other fronts. They were sent to the Kursk region in the fall of 2024. Since then, Ukraine's defense forces have managed to eliminate several thousand North Korean soldiers and capture 2 prisoners.
The North Koreans have not fully realized yet that it is not just people who can fight, but machines as well. It is like they try to counter this, but it is futile. They die in large numbers because they don't know how to fight drones. The majority of North Korean soldiers perish within the first minutes of assaults. They remain in small groups, try to seize positions. In reality, even if North Korean forces come across us, their chances of survival are virtually zero. Callsign Greek, Special Operations Forces serviceman of the Ukrainian Armed Forces, in an interview with RBC Ukraine.
Interview with the Associated Press, the president of Ukraine reported that on February 1st, Ukraine's armed forces struck a central Russian command post in the Kursk region.
Це була військова наша ціль.
This was our legitimate military target. A missile strike was launched from our side. Various types of weapons were used. A comprehensive strike was delivered, and we are talking about dozens of officers. They brought us 12 Southern Koreans, as you know, and they lost 4 of them. They lost the combat capability of this first waste bag of North Koreans. I can't tell them anything else because they're just a waste bag. They don't know where they are going and are fighting against a country they've never been to.
However, the president of Ukraine pointed out that North Korean soldiers should not be underestimated. They are gradually adapting to the conditions of warfare. The most important thing is that they are highly motivated, reported by Julia Hranovska, UATV News.